It's setting up.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our very first community conversation with the partnership of 2021. Before we get started, we want to say Happy New Year to all of our families and all of you watching us. And we're just so excited to be here today with you for our very first conversation for the new year. I'm Lamisha Staten, the Community Outreach Manager for the partnership, and I'm very blessed to work with the young ladies that you'll get a chance to see this morning from our NC PreK program. They are gearing up for a wonderful application season. We know we're going to have fun and have a great time getting our new class. I think it's going to be the class of 2022, right?
Right.
Of NC PreK students. So we're excited to get ready to welcome our class of 2022. And again, if you have a 4-year-old, a child that will be 4 years old before August 31st of this year, your child is eligible to apply for the upcoming school year. So again, we welcome you as we talk to you today about the new application. We know parents have various questions and need clarity on various items regarding the application. So you'll get a chance to hear about that today. I do want to just quickly introduce our staff that are on today with us. We have Ms. Brenda Mathis. She is our NC PreK director, along with Ms. Robin Armstrong, who works with our NC PreK staff, along with Ms. Dee Craven, who also works with the NC PreK staff. And we also have Ms. Joy Everhart, who is our new NC PreK staff person. So we're excited to have them. They are so very knowledgeable and just ready to answer your questions. We do want to remind any parents that are watching, if you have questions during this presentation this morning, feel free to drop those questions in our comment section right there on Facebook. And again, if you're watching the replay of this video, feel free to email us or call us at any time. If you have questions, and I'll give you our telephone number, it is 336-274-5437 is our office number. And you can definitely be able to ask that as well. For those who want to catch the video in another format, we will also be introducing a new YouTube channel for the partnership, and we should have that up and running by the end of this week. So just stay tuned. We'll share that information with you by Friday, hopefully, of this week. But you can also catch this video right here on our Facebook page, and feel free to share it out to any of your family members or friends who will be applying. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the NC PreK staff. And again, welcome to today's presentation.
Good morning, everyone. We are so excited to have this opportunity to go over the application for the 21-22 NC PreK application season. As Lamisha shared, it will be on our website. What you need to be careful with is both applications. We are still accepting applications for the 2021 season. So that application will be on our website at www.guilfordchildren.org. And also the 21-22 application. So make sure you click on the appropriate button, because if you don't, then you'll have to redo your online application. You can apply online at our website, but we also have paper applications. If your child is currently attending an NC PreK site, they have applications, paper applications that you can submit. If you would like for us to mail you an application, you can send us an email. Our emails are going to be on the end of the presentation, and we'll be happy to mail you one. And we will have them at our office at 500 West Friendly Avenue, Greensboro, North Carolina. And we have them in a sleeve and a drop box. We have a drop box, and our office door is unlocked from 8 to 5 every day. But of course, our office is closed to keep families and staff safe due to COVID. But we have a drop box. So if you need to pick an application up, they will be available at the partnership, and they're taped to the door, and you'll be able to see them when you come in. So I'm going to go over the cover page first. There's a cover page. Even online, you'll see the cover page. It gives you a lot of information. So we're supposed to start doing, Ms. Kim's going to share it with us. Thank you, Kim. The kickoff is January the 6th, but since we're doing this today, we're going to go ahead and put the link on our website. But the kids, first thing you need to remember, if you select a Guilford County schools, their deadline is April the 16th, 2021. So applications submitted after that time, you would only be considered for Guilford Child Development Head Start and private child care sites. The application is for children who will be 4 years old on or before August 31st, 2021. If your child's birthday is September the 1st, 2021, you will have to wait till the class of 2023. That's a rule that's been in North Carolina for quite a while now, and we have asked for children that are born on September the 1st, can they go ahead and start? And the answer is no. And we have to follow the state rules. So the biggest thing, you'll hear this more than once today, applications have to be complete. So there's documents that we need in order for your application to be complete. The first one is proof of birth. It can be a birth certificate, a shot record, a health form, an insurance card, anything that has your child's date of birth. And we only need one item. Proof of income, a copy of your 1040 or W-2 from 2020 or 4 consecutive pay stubs. We need 1 month of pay stubs. So if you get paid monthly, we would only need 1 stub. If you get paid bi-weekly, we would need 2 stubs. And if you get paid weekly, we need 4 pay stubs. And they need to be 4 in a row from the dates. And we prefer no later than November and December. You can use November and December pay stubs. Additional income, if you receive child support, unemployment, workers' compensation, you would have a letter or child support if it's court ordered. It's only court ordered. If there's an agreement and it's not a court order, we do not count child support in that manner. It has to be court ordered. A lot of times you get that direct deposit. So anything that you can use to show that you receive child support or unemployment benefits and workers' comp, you can, we need whatever award letter or what you were given for those additional incomes. Proof of residency can be a copy of your utility bill or rental agreement, the lease. So we only need the first page that has your name and the address. We don't need the whole lease. Your driver's license, if it has the current address. The thing with the address you send us has to match what you have put onto your application. If you're living with someone and you have nothing in your name with that address, all they have to do is write a statement, and they can email us the statement. They can write it on a piece of simple paper and turn it in with the application, and just has to have their name, their address, and that you and your child live with them, and they sign it and put their phone number. If your child has a chronic health condition, we need a medical statement from a doctor that says it is chronic. If you're active duty or you were hurt in the military or loss of life in the military, there's a paper that you would send us that applies. If your child has a developmental or educational need or an IEP, then we would need a copy of the document. And if your child does not have an individual education plan, that's what we call the IEP, and they're receiving services from a private agency, we do accept that. So you would send us the goals. One thing that families have asked in the past is for the private sites, how much does it cost? All NC PreK sites are no charge. Even the private sites, there is no charge for the 6.5-hour day. This program is funded by the state of North Carolina by the Division of Child Development and Early Education. Guilford County Schools do not provide transportation or wraparound after school care. Guilford Child Development Head Start and private sites may provide wraparound services depending upon parent demand. Some of the private sites and Head Start do offer transportation, but that transportation is not guaranteed. And for this year, the private sites are not doing transportation due to COVID. So for next year, I would encourage you around June, July to contact the site and see if they're going to do transportation. And if they're going to, if you need wraparound care, so if you work past 2 or 2:30, and nobody can pick up your child, you would do wraparound and need after school care, I would encourage you to call the site and get on the list after May. Once we've done placements, we do placements in May, to make sure your child has a spot for wraparound also. If you're going to mail the application in, the address is at the very bottom. It's Guilford County Partnership for Children, 500 West Friendly Avenue, Suite 100, Greensboro. And we do have the drop box from 8 to 5 that you can put your application in. If you do the online application, then you wouldn't need to come by the office. That's for the paper application.
Brenda, we have a quick question from a parent.
Sure.
I'll read it here. They say that what is the expectation for, what is the expectation for delivery of the proof of items that you need for the application? Will we email copies to a specific email or utilize the Dropbox?
So that's a great question. So our emails are going to be at the end of this presentation, and you can go on our website and find our emails too. So you can, if you're doing the online application, you can email those documents to us, and you can attach them right on the online application. And if you can't, if that's a little bit difficult, which sometimes it is for some families to work their phones to get the documents uploaded, then you can do your online application and then email your documents to us. We do not need original birth certificates, so you can send copies of any documents, but the application, if you're doing a paper application, we have to have an original application. That's a great question. Okay. Ms. D will be doing the next section.
Another quick question, I'm sorry, before you get started, Dee. Can we drop off applications at the pre-K office for Guilford County Schools as well?
That's a great question. The only place that the answer is no. With the partnership is the only place that you can take applications. If you drop them off at Guilford County Schools, they hopefully they like it. Some parents do that, but it does take time for them to get it to our office. So it's best that all applications come through the partnership, because we process every application. Nobody else processes the application.
All right, good morning. We will start with page 1 of the application. As Brenda stated before, your child must be 4 years old on or before August 31st of 2021. When you are filling out the application, please make sure your child's name matches what is on the birth certificate, as well as the birth date on the birth certificate. We need the child's address. If you have a different address as a mailing address, you can write that, because we do correspond with families through mail, email, and telephone calls. We ask that you write legibly so that we can see every letter of your mailing address and your email address and the numbers in your telephone number. All right. Under child's information as well, you must check the child's ethnicity, if the child is Latino or Hispanic or not. You must check the child's race and the child's gender. If one of those areas is not checked, the application will be considered incomplete. For family information, you will check who the child lives with, whether it's both parents. If it's 50-50 custody, we only need information of the parent who is submitting the application. Mother only, step parent, foster parents, we need documentation stating that you are the foster parent. For legal guardian, we need documentation that is signed by a judge stating that you have legal guardianship. Other would count as grandparent or an aunt, and if that is the case, we will mail you a form or email you a form that you would need to complete and send back to us. If there are 2 parents in the household, we need for you to complete parent 1 and parent 2. Again, as I've stated, everything needs to be legible. All right, and it's for parents and guardians and siblings who live in the household. Please state the name and the relationship and the age of the parent guardian, and siblings. We do not need to count cousins, aunts, and uncles in the family size. If that part is not complete, the application will be considered as incomplete.
Dee, can I ask a quick question on behalf of a parent?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a parent that says they do not have a copy of their child's birth certificate. Will the insurance card work instead?
It depends on the type of insurance card. Some insurance cards, for example, a Medicaid card has the child's birth date on it. So if the insurance card has the child's birth date, we have accepted those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. We're going to turn to page 2 of 8, and we're going to look at family income. As Brenda stated earlier, as far as what you would need to turn in to document income, if you get paid weekly, we will need a month of check stubs. Monthly, we just need 1 month of check stub. If you get paid bi-weekly or semi-monthly, we will need 2 of your check stubs. We need documentation of each application. The source of the family's gross income is required. If there are 2 parents in the household, we will need income for both parents. And if you are employed, the next question is asking if you're employed. We need you to check yes or no. If you check no, we also need you to look below that and check whether or not you are seeking employment, attending job training, attending secondary employment, or attending high school or getting your GED. If any of the other items under wages apply, for example, alimony, child support, workers' comp, or unemployment, we need documentation for those areas also. We need to know what your total income is. If you receive SSA or SSID, we need 1 month, at least 1 month of bank statements.
Robin, I have a quick question from a parent. And you may have just answered this question. Just to reiterate, do you need pay stubs per parent if it is a 2-parent household?
We do. We need, if it's a 2-parent or household, we need income for both parents in the household in order to calculate eligibility for our program.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to page 3 of 8, but I wanted to add something to the income section. If you are we have on our website at www.guilfordchildren.org, we have the family size and the income limits. And so you'll be able to see if you're income eligible. If you're over income, we still encourage you to apply because Guilford County Schools has funds, and we get federal funds called Title I that serve children who are over income. So please apply regardless if you're over income or you meet the income requirements. And even though it is based on income, what I'm getting ready to talk about now, the other factors, if you're over income and one of these apply, then your child is still eligible. So number 3 at the top, the first thing we're going to talk about is language. It says, what is the primary language spoken with the child at home? So you would write that in, and if you're doing the online application, you have all the languages there for you, and you just click on which one is the primary language. And then, does your child speak and understand English? Yes or no? That has to be checked. If your child speaks a little bit of English, then you would need to check no. If they speak and understand English very well, then you would check yes. If you choose a Guilford County school, you have to answer this next question. It says, what is the parent's preferred language for answering questions about the child's development? If you pick a Guilford County schools, once your application is complete and processed, you will get an email or letter from Guilford County Schools to complete an online ages and stages questionnaire for your child. There are 5 languages: English, Spanish, Arabic, Vietnamese, and French, and you can click other, and we will try to find the version in your language for you to complete that online screening. If you do not choose the Guilford County Schools, then you do not have to do an online screening. But that's not, if you choose one Guilford County Schools and other sites, and we'll talk about how you choose your sites later, then you would need to complete an online screening. For
Brenda,
help,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Brenda, I have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Sure. No,
Before
go
you
ahead.
move, before you
Mhm.
move to help, we have a parent that just asked, if a parent is self-employed, what proof of income do you need then?
So if they're self-employed, they would need to have a separate bank account within their business, and they would send us 1 month of the bank statement with the business, in the business accounts. If they're a hairdresser and they, a lot of hairdressers that we have that are families that apply, they'll have, it'll go into their regular account. We would just need a bank statement for that, and they would need to let us know that they were a hairdresser. And you can wait until you file your taxes to apply, but you can, as long as you have a business account. And if you don't, then they can call the office, and once we find out what kind of self-employment they have, we can help them a little bit better. But if they have a business account, we just need 1 month of their bank statement, and we do take 20% off of the top for people that are self-employed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next box is health, and we mentioned this in the beginning. Health. If your child has a chronic health condition identified by a medical professional, you would check yes. And we want to talk about asthma because a lot of times families will check yes and put asthma, because if it says if yes, what is the chronic health condition? We know a lot of children have asthma, but there are certain criteria that the doctor identifies that make it chronic. So if it's just asthma on the documentation, that is not chronic asthma. So you need to have something specific from the doctor that does state that it is chronic asthma. We know a lot of children suffer from asthma, but if it's not chronic, if it's controlled by medication, it's usually not chronic. If they've been in the hospital numerous times and things like that, then it's usually considered chronic, but your doctor would be able to tell you that. If your child has sickle cell anemia, we know that's chronic. If they have Fragile X, if there's all kinds of medical conditions that your child would have, then that would be chronic. So you would need to send us, if you've been to the doctor lately, if you go to a specialist, a lot of families can go online to their MyChart and just print out or send us the link that use to print it out and send it to us by email showing that the child's condition is chronic. If you have any questions about that, anything, you can always email or call us.
We just got a question in, Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
If a child has a IEP,
Mm-hmm.
would they qualify irrespective of family income?
Yes, they would be eligible. That's correct. Even if they're over income, if they have an IEP, they're still eligible. That's correct. Great questions. Okay. Military service. If anyone is active, mom or dad or guardian is active duty, you would have a letter that states your active duty. If they were seriously injured or sadly deceased resulting from the military service, then that child, we would need verification of the military service. And most military families they have a 1-page letter that says they're active duty. If they were seriously injured, they would have a letter that says they were discharged, honorably discharged, and it would have that they, due to disability, that they were hurt in the military. So they would send us, that would be the documentation to send us. And we do, if it's no, then you would check no there. But we do have family, we do serve military families. So that's another area that if you're over income and you're military, that one thing makes you eligible. Okay. The last one on that page is child's prior placement. So you have to check one. There's 6 different things there. So if you're, most of our families, the child has never been served in any preschool or childcare setting. So if your child's been at home with you or the grandparents or a family member, then you would check the first box. If your child is unserved, so let's say at one time they were in a child care facility, but now they're not, then you would check the second box. If your child is in unregulated child care, what that means is that they are not at a licensed child care facility, and you would know if your child, if they're in a licensed facility or not. So that would be somebody, maybe a family member keeping children, 2 or 3 kids, but they didn't have a license. And you don't have to have a license unless you're keeping a certain amount of children. If your child is in a 1 or 2 star, you would check that box. And if you don't know the star rating, you can go on the website, just Google. If you just type in DCDEE, it'll take you to their homepage, and you can search your child care center to know if they're a 1 or a 2 star. The next one, the 5th one, my child is not receiving subsidy, but is in regular child care or a preschool program. So if you don't receive funding to help pay for child care and your child is in child care, you would check that box. The last one is your child is receiving subsidy and in a regulated child care preschool program. Subsidy helps parents that are working to pay for child care. So if you're receiving subsidy, then you would check the last box.
Brenda, we just got, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. We just got another question.
Sure.
If it says, if my child is currently in Head Start, but I desire for consideration for Guilford County Schools, is it okay to still apply?
Absolutely. And when we get to the last 2 pages and we'll talk about the sites, that's a great question. But absolutely, the parents have the choice of where they want to pick for their child to go for pre-K. So the very last box on that page is all in bold because a lot of people miss checking this. If you're doing it online, you can't move on to the next thing until you've answered the required questions. That question is, was your child previously served by an NC PreK site as a 3-year-old? So if you're at, just an example, if you're at a child care network now, your child is, then you would check yes to that box. If they're at any of the private sites, and even if they were in Head Start, if they're in a Head Start program as a 3-year-old and they have NC PreK, then you would check yes. If your child's never been anywhere, you would check no to that question. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So page 4 of 8, development and educational need. If your child has not been referred or identified with a disability or educational need, you can check no and move on to page 5. If your child currently has an IEP or your child is working with someone from a private agency and they have goals, please complete this section. And you will need to submit a copy of the current IEP or their current goals. If your child has been referred for an evaluation, and remember, a referral does not automatically mean that the child is eligible. You will go ahead and complete this section. And after the evaluation, if your child has been identified with a disability or developmental need, you will submit the paperwork to us afterwards.
Okay, we're gonna turn to page 5 of 8. And this is the parent responsibility and participation part of the application. As you can see, it is asking to please initial each statement This shows that you're agreeing to and being responsible and for participation in NC Pre-K. So I'm going to run through the statements for you, and I just want you to be reminded that we need your initials for each one of these instead of a yes or a no. I understand this is an application for services offered and does not constitute enrollment into any program. I certify that the information given on this application is true and accurate, and all income has been reported. I understand this information is being given for receipt of federal and/or state funds. Program staff may verify information on this application. Deliberate misrepresentation of the information may subject me to prosecution applicable federal and/or state laws. I authorize partnering pre-K agencies, Guilford County Partnership for Children, Guilford County Schools, and Guilford Child Development, which is our Head Start program, to exchange information regarding my child for the purpose of determining eligibility for state and federal funds, pre-K programs, and for data collection by the Office of Early Learning and the Division of Child Development and Early Education. I give permission for my child to receive developmental, hearing, vision, dental, and/or speech and language screenings for the results of these screenings to be shared with partnering pre-K programs. That includes Guilford County Partnership for Children, Guilford County Public Schools, and Guilford Child Development Head Start programs. I understand that if my child is selected to participate in the NC Pre-K program, parent involvement will be critical to the success of my child. We commit to participate as required by the program's criteria. I understand that NC Pre-K is designed to serve at-risk children and that every effort shall be made by me and the NC Pre-K program to maintain my child's enrollment and participation. I understand I am responsible for providing transportation for my child if transportation is not available at my child's site. Transportation is not provided for any Guilford County School pre-K site. I understand that my child will need a current updated health assessment and immunization before he or she attends a program. Please remember that at the end of this to sign, date, and put the relationship of the person completing the application on this page. Then you need to return completed original application and copies of documentation by mail or Dropbox to the Guilford County Partnership for Children, 500 West Friendly Avenue, Suite 100, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27401. Fax applications will not be accepted because we need the original application.
Thanks, Robin. We'll go to page 7 of 8 and 8 of 8. So on these two pages, you'll find all of the NC Pre-K sites. On page 7 are all of the Greensboro sites. Families can choose sites wherever they would like their child to go. It does not have to be the school that your child is going to attend for kindergarten. It doesn't have to be close to your house. That's one of the good things with pre-K. If you're working on one side of town and you live on the other and you've got to pick your child up, then you need to have them close to work. That is your preference. So you can pick any site. You can look at the zip codes and see, pick out the zip codes for the area that you're looking for. You get to pick up to 4 sites. And if you're doing the paper application, you'll see on page 8 is where you write in your 4 sites. So on page 7, all the Greensboro sites, if you look on the left-hand side, that's all the Guilford County schools. Then at the top of the second column is Guilford Child Development Head Start, Bristol Senior Council House, all their Greensboro sites. And then the private child care sites, all the private child care sites are listed on underneath of the Head Start sites. All of these sites, there is no charge for the 6.5-hour day. Then if you go to the High Point side, the Guilford County Schools are on the left and the private and Head Start sites are on the right. The ones that you see stars with, those are the ones who may provide transportation next year. We'll have to see where we're at with COVID. Hopefully we're in a lot better shape come next August to do that. But it's you would need to call at probably in June or July to see if they're going to be able to offer transportation. Sometimes sites do charge a small fee, but if families cannot afford that, then their child can still do transportation if it is offered. The biggest, at the bottom of page 8, you'll see I only want my child to attend sites chosen. We have families that when they list their 4 sites, that would be the only ones they would be able to get them to. So they would check that box. If you're open to your child attending any Greensboro site, let's say all 4 of yours are full and your child is next on the list for another site and it's close, then if you're willing for us to offer, you can always decline, but we would call and ask, would you accept that site? You would check the second box, and the same goes for High Point. That's the last box. My child can attend any High Point site. Sometimes with Guilford County Schools, a lot of those sites, I only have one NC PreK class. So there's 18 children in an NC PreK class. So if your child is number 19 on the placement list, when we get ready to do placements, then they would not get into to that school. We would go to your second choice. I want to talk a minute about, we've had some families to ask, let me sure you interrupt me if we've got questions. We've had some families to ask, when will we know if our child got into NC PreK? So number 1, the application has to be complete. You have to submit all of your documents. If one thing is missing, we cannot process it and enter it into the system. So it's very important to get all of your documents turned in. Number 2, we have a committee. It's called the NC PreK Committee. They vote in May on who the sites and how many children each site is going to serve. So in May, if your child's application is complete, and you've got all your documents turned in, we do what's called the first round of placements. And if your child is in the top 18 and can get into the site you chose, then you will get a placement letter. So in May, we do the private sites and the Head Start sites. So you have first choice in any of those, in a Head Start or private site. If that's your first choice, then you would know if your child got in May. Guilford County Schools, they have to do the online screening, so it takes a little longer. It's usually about the 1st of July before they start doing placements. But it is so critical to get. I apologize, my phone was ringing. I don't know if you could hear. I declined it. Excuse me. It's critical that you get everything completed so you will know by July if your child got into NC PreK. I think my staff can help me. I think we've covered everything. Let me see if we have any questions. Dee, Robin, Joy, did I leave something out?
Yes, if they choose the child care network, they need to make sure they write the number of the child care network that they've selected.
Yes, thank you, Dee. I think we have 9 child care networks, so you need to, thank you, Dee. We need to write the number so we'll know which one that you want. When you're doing the online application, you can type in your choices you want to have. Any questions, Lamisa?
We don't have any additional questions, but just can you reiterate how families are to submit their proof of documentation?
Right. So if you're doing a paper application, you either drop that off at the drop box or mail it to us, because we have to have an original paper application. If you're doing the online application, we print those at the office. Your documents can be copies. You can email them to us. You can submit them with your paper application, or you can upload them when you're doing the online application.
We do have another quick question that just came in. Is it mandatory for every child to be tested in order to be placed?
That's a great question. If you have selected of your four choices, if you have a Guilford County school, they do have to do the online screening, but the parent does that. We don't screen the child online or in person any longer. So the parent completes the ages and stages questionnaire. It's pretty simple to complete. So that's only if you have a Guilford County school. Children that have private first and second choice or all private sites or all Head Start sites, they do not receive a screening prior to placement.
Okay, and we just had another question to come in.
Mhm.
Due to COVID, how will screening be done this year if they are accepted into Guilford County schools?
That's a great question. So and I'll tell you where we're at currently. So currently, parents have the right to have their child stay at home, and the children are doing remote learning. All of the sites now are in school in person, but you can choose remote learning, and we have parents that choose remote learning. I feel like that probably will be the case in August. I feel pretty certain that'll be the case in August. So in August, you can do in-person learning or you can do remote learning. If you do remote learning, you log on to Zoom, whatever platform. Some of it's Google Classroom, Google Meets. There's all different kinds of things that teachers are using. And you log on for 30 minutes every day, and you'll see the teacher. And if there's children there in the classroom, they can see their classmates. And then the teacher will send activities to complete the rest of the day. We use Creative Curriculum. Parents are able to log on to Creative Curriculum, and there's activities there that the teacher will send for the parents to complete who are doing remote learning.
I just thought of a question.
Mm-hmm.
Will the children be required to wear masks during the school day?
So the rule the Governor Cooper enacted a few months ago is when they turn 5. So they turn 5 when they're in NC Pre-K. They're required to wear it. And as you all know, you can imagine what it's like to try to get 4 and 5-year-olds to wear a mask. So we do the best. The teachers are doing the best job that they can. But we do try with the 5-year-olds. They have to bring a mask to school, and we do our best to have them to wear it. But that's the answer to that.
I think we've had some great questions, haven't we, from the parents
Yeah.
that are watching. And I think we've had somewhat over maybe 25 families on with us this morning for this presentation. And right now we're at 21. So we want to say hello to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we just really appreciate you, and just tremendous kudos to this NC Pre-K team that you see assembled before you. These are the young ladies that work hard to get those applications done and in, and you may get some feedback if they need some additional information. I did type in the comments all of their email addresses, and we're going to post that on the screen really quickly for you as well. We just got a hello that just came in, and we had another parent that posted it. They are so excited. So we are excited. And again, just thinking about it last night, I'm like, this is class of 2022. So that we'll be enrolling, and we have class of 2021 that'll be finishing up soon. So we're just excited for the future of our children, even though through what we've all been through with COVID-19 and facing this pandemic, our children have been so resilient. And we want to give a shout out to all of the families, because all of you have done such a great job, and to the teachers. We have some amazing NC Pre-K teachers. Y'all, this is a wonderful program. It is free, completely free. There is no charge. So we are just so excited, and we still see the I'm so excited comments coming in. We did just get a quick question, Brenda, or anyone on the staff. What is the start date for school beginning in the fall?
It's a great question. I believe this year we started let me back up. So we do home visits. We did those a little differently this year. They can go to the classroom if the family chooses to. They can do a live session. This is way before COVID last August, but We used to have a home visit where they would actually go to the home. So the state changed and gave us options. So a lot of times the families wanted to come and meet the teacher in the classroom. So that is usually 3 to 4 days that they're doing that. And so really most of them start in the classroom the Tuesday after Labor Day. So the week of the 25th, around August 25th, is when they do come to the classroom visits or meet at a park, or there's plenty of options to do what we're calling the beginning of the year visits now. So those are in August, and the children usually will start on the Tuesday after Labor Day for pre-K.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to our entire NC pre-K team. We still have just numerous comments coming in saying they have been looking forward to this moment. Pre-K has some awesome leaders and teachers. We got another comment just saying thank you for the invitation to come to the meeting today. Another parent that said this is so awesome. They can't believe that their oldest child is ready for pre-K. I tell you, the children are just growing up so fast. Especially now, it seems like they're home and, everybody's just trying to make it day to day. But next thing you know, they're moving on to the next milestone. So this is an exciting time. And just here on the screen, you see the emails once again for our pre-K staff. We know parents will have questions afterwards. And we just want to share this with you to reach out to us if you have questions, even here on Facebook. If you have a question, feel free to send it to us. I'll see the message and I'll get it to our staff so we can get your questions answered as well. So thank you again for everyone. Brenda, Joy, Robin, Dee, do you guys have anything else you want to share or any words you want to share to our parents before we close out?
I just wanted to say that the pre-K team could not do this Facebook Live event without Miss Lamisha and Kim Kim's behind the backgrounds, making sure that everybody is muted and everything, getting this up and going. And Lamisha does such a great job for the partnership, having these live events and all that she does to promote community awareness. This is the first time that we've done this, going through the application, and we hope it really does help families. Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
And I would like to wish all families, those prior and those coming aboard, a very happy New Year. We look forward to this year.
Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to working with you.
Absolutely. And Joy, you have to send in a message before we close out.
Well, I'm just excited. This is my second day on the team, so I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to work with the families and teachers and get these kids off to a great start.
That's awesome. And we just before we close, we had one more question to come in really quick. They said we can email our documents to any of the staff.
That's correct.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, everyone, thank you again for sticking with us. We are so excited. We still have 16 folks on with us, so we appreciate you, and we hope all of you have a wonderful new year. Feel free to reach out to us. We're still here and still available for you, and look out for more events to come. Take good care.